Okay, now let's take a look at some other examples. So we know that when a function is defined by an equation, and if the equation contains denominator, then the way we determine the domain is we need to exclude from the domain any values that make the denominator of a fraction equal to 0. So given a function, if the function is a fraction, if the equation is a fraction, then we take a look at what is the denominator. Okay, and we think about what numbers will make this denominator be 0. And we said to think about this question is equivalent to solve for such an equation. So 2x minus 1 times x plus 6 equals 0. And in our previous classes, we said when we solve this equation, we can use the zero product property. So this equation is equivalent to 2x minus 1 equals 0 or x plus 6 equals 0. So therefore, the solution is 1 over 2 or negative 6. Then this means if our inputs are 1 over 2 or negative 6, our input will make the denominator of this function to be 0. So therefore, these two numbers they can be in our domain. So our domain is every real numbers except 1 over 2 and negative 6. Okay, now let's take a look at another example. So the function fx is 1 over x squared minus 16x plus 60. So to find the domain, we're gonna solve this equation for x. So here, since 60 we can factor as a 6 and we can factor as a negative 6 and a 10. So we can factor this trinomial into x minus 6 times x minus 10. And then use the zero product property, we can find the solution. So the solutions are x equals 6 or x equals 10. This means the domain. The domain gonna be every real number except 6 and 10. Okay, let's take a look at the last one. In the last one, the function is 1 over x squared plus 16. Now, if you consider the solution of this equation, you will see the solution doesn't exist. There's no solution. Because you cannot find any real number such that the square of that real number plus 16 is equal to 0. No, we don't have any real number. So that means since there is no numbers that will make the denominator of the function to be 0, so the domain the domain is every real number. So every real number can be our input.